Hey everybody, this is Troy over at Uncomfortable Truths. Thanks for checking me out. So today we have to talk about the chant that broke the mainstream media because there are a lot of people that are super upset about this chant that took place at the Trump rally in Pennsylvania.
Genocide Joe! Genocide Joe! Genocide Joe! Genocide Joe! Genocide Joe! Genocide Joe! Genocide Joe!
They're not wrong. They're not wrong.
No, you did not mishear this. At a Trump rally in Pennsylvania, you had Trump supporters chanting Genocide Joe. One of the criticisms that was gaining traction from the right is that Joe Biden is very much a war hawk. He's been horrible on the issue of Ukraine. He's horrible on the issue of Taiwan. This guy wants to get involved in every single conflict he can drag the United States in. And one of the things that many people that were skeptical about Donald Trump, particularly in 2016, that said, hey, maybe I'll give this guy a shot, is that he actually came out and said that the Iraq War was an absolute disaster and that George Bush did not keep America safe. Now, that's obviously the case considering that the largest terrorist attack in United States history happened under George Bush's watch. So for people to try to reform George Bush into some sort of hero for the right, or even now you're seeing it on the left, is absolutely ridiculous. For those of us on the right, I think it's fair to say that George Bush is somebody that we should be deeply, deeply ashamed of because his foreign policy led us into wars that lasted for decades and we have nothing to show for it. So it was a breath of fresh air when during the 2016 debates, Trump goes up in front of a Republican crowd and talks about these mistakes openly. And it kind of gave permission for conservatives to start admitting, yeah, this isn't great and this isn't something that we want to see happen. And these have had real world positive repercussions. This is why now you see conservatives who've been skeptical of the Ukraine narrative, where apparently you have Democrats and let's keep it real, also a lot of Republicans saying that we need to make sure we keep funding these people, despite the fact that we're losing an entire generation of Ukrainian young men, and they're almost certainly going to lose the war regardless of the amount of funding that we give them. On top of that, we're escalating tensions with Russia for no real gainable reason. Like, we're not going to get anything from this. So it's not in our interest really to create more tensions with Russia than we actually need to have. It's just more senseless violence, and the only people benefiting from it is our military industrial complex. We keep giving more money to them, they keep profiting, and more people keep dying. But people on the right, and even some people on the left, they're just not buying this crap anymore. Because it's getting harder and harder to believe that it's a good idea for us to send money to Israel, Ukraine, and Taiwan. Because what are we actually doing in these instances? We're basically fighting a proxy war against Russia, Iran, and China. Two of these countries definitely have nuclear weapons, and a third might have nuclear weapons or might be trying to get them. So is this really going to be in our interest to be involved in a proxy war with all three of them at the same time? I think the answer is obviously no. And consider this before you start saying that, oh, well, if China goes into Taiwan, it's game over. Look, we can't stop Chinese immigrants from coming in through our own border. They're an ocean away and we can't stop them from coming into our own border. And you think we're somehow going to protect Taiwan? Get out of here. We can't protect our own country. So this idea that we're somehow going to stop China from taking over Taiwan, which up until about 20 minutes ago, we were basically saying that Taiwan actually was part of China. And then the Biden administration and all the war lovers in the Democratic Party decided that they were going to go all in on this idea that the buck's going to stop at Taiwan. Well, I really don't think that that's necessarily going to be a great idea. And I definitely don't think it's a great idea for us to go into every single country and every single conflict all over the world and say, no, this is what we want to happen. And we're going to make sure that this is what occurs, because we only have so much money. We only have so much power, and we only have so much authority. On top of this, once you start creating enemies all over the world, they're going to start getting together and have all of these countries that are independently weaker than us. They're going to get together and merge their powers and start coming after the United States. Now, we are creating this threat. There's no reason for things to be like this. And under the Trump administration, he was going out and talking to our adversaries. It's much better to talk to our adversaries to come up with solutions that are in America's best interests, even if that means that we have to have talks with people that we might not agree with, because that alternative is far superior to these nonsense endless wars that the Democrats are now bringing us into with the help of a lot of Republicans. So I am thrilled to see that we have anti-war protesters actually showing up at Trump rallies in support of Donald Trump, even if it's over instances that I might not always agree with a particular conflict one way or the other with the assessment of some of these protesters. At least there's an anti-war movement, and it's becoming clear that that movement is largely on the right. So that's all we've got for this for now. Do me a favor and hit like and subscribe. Tell me what you thought of the video, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care, everybody.